Bitcoin's the only one that has. And the problem is it's very hard for Bitcoin to go up without the rest of the ecosystem going up. Because if this is a positive time for the ecosystem, it's actually more positive for the ecosystem than it is for Bitcoin. Meaning, I think the innovation and the expansion of the financial guardrails as they get more involved across the globe, it should benefit the ecosystem a lot. And so as long as the altcoins are still showing this overhang and supply, that says to me, this reminds me a lot of the post-dot-com bubble period where...
Visser also explores how this merging reshapes Bitcoin's trajectory. While Bitcoin's price might face short-term pullbacks, he argues that the long-term structure is profoundly bullish. The digital economy is only in its early phase, and network effects are beginning to compound. Please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can also check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies and the overall digital asset space, and drop your comments and observations in the comment section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
Well, that's why the Zelle news is so important. I mean, Zelle is used by so many people globally, and this is basically a transfer system, which now means that anyone that is going to transfer will be able to do it in the cheapest form, which will be stablecoins. This is happening. Like this is just happening. So think of it as the two systems are merging, meaning the fiat banking system is finally merging with digital money. This has been a dream of people in the space since the Bitcoin white paper was originally written and published. So everyone should be excited that something like Zelle, which will speed up the process, meaning you'll be able to just do this seamlessly. So one of my biggest fears was how easy will the adoption happen for the wealthiest people on the planet. The poorer people we know are very comfortable using stablecoins and going through this because they have, as Michael Saylor says, they don't have much to lose. But for the people that have the majority of the money on the planet, the OG whales inside the fiat system, they're more reluctant to ever get a wallet because they don't need to. Well, now what you're saying is you're going to have a wallet because if you transfer or wire money in Zelle, you're immediately going to be able to do it in stablecoins, and this is the way this is going to be done. So it will replace all of the things, Western Union, everything that people had thought about. We're basically going to merge the two systems without having to tell people to get off of them. And that's pretty much what happened with the smartphone, is that once people got rid of their old phones, their dumb phones, and they got rid of their Blackberries, and they ended up on the iPhone, it may not have been an easy transition. They may have been scared about all their information because that was a fear back then. But then once it happened, they didn't care anymore. So this is going to be a much more seamless transition than what people realize. So technically, Bitcoin has never topped. So when you say, has it topped? Could it go down another 10, 15, 20%? Sure. You know, as someone who's traded markets for a long time, you have to embrace the down moves and start to view them as opportunities. If you believe that the long term, as I do, that it's going to be substantially higher and that we're just entering the early phase of the network effects of the digital economy and digital assets, which I do believe, I'd rather have it fall right now, than go higher. I'm not going anywhere. And I believe that this is a structural change that, if anything, this year has been accelerated due to the deregulation that's happening. There's more good news to come on that from the clarity. But I could not have envisioned the amount of stablecoin adoption that is now not only happening, but will happen in the future. And every week we get another announcement from either a company, from a platform, from whatever, that is saying that they're moving to stablecoins. And this week it was Zelle. And I think Zelle is probably the most important news story that happened this month for Bitcoin. But those types of things aren't going to change the dynamic of making it go up higher now. After watching the S&P 500 for years, when sentiment is where it is now, that's usually a time to be buying. I think there may be one more kind of flush out in the short term, possibly. I don't really care, and I have bids underneath. But I do think one thing that I've learned in talking to people and just realizing maybe some of the differences is that in 2022, that period of crypto where the market collapsed, there was fraud, there were bankruptcies, then there was heavy regulation. There's an overhang that still exists clearly. Altcoins are still significantly below their high prices back then. Ethereum has attempted to get through the highs of back then. Bitcoin's the only one that has. And the problem is, it's very hard for Bitcoin to go up without the rest of the ecosystem going up. Because if this is a positive time for the ecosystem, it's actually more positive for the ecosystem than it is for Bitcoin. Meaning, I think the innovation and the expansion of the financial guardrails as they get more involved across the globe, it should benefit the ecosystem a lot. And so as long as the altcoins are still showing this overhang and supply, that says to me, this reminds me a lot of the post-dot-com bubble period, where it took a while for the internet build out, which was clearly very bullish. Same thing as what happened in crypto. My son had turned $700 into 80,000. He was 13 years old. That kind of stuff needs to be taken out. And I think a new bubble time is coming up over the course of the next few years. And if we can make new all-time highs again anytime within the next few months, not only will we get rid of that topping side, but then I'll never have to hear about the 4-year cycle again. I'll never have to hear about all these things that people believe are going to happen. I just think we're recycling some of the old historical beliefs that people have with new beliefs. And the most important thing for everyone is that Bitcoin, stablecoins, Ethereum, the entire network effects ecosystem that people had dreamed about, that part is all in place and the regulations are coming down. So I expect the next few years to be great. The fiat system is a casino in Las Vegas that's been around for 150 years. It's old, it's decrepit, it has rats running through it. Costs lots of money just to enter. You have to pay for your drinks. And then across the street is this shiny new digital casino that has the young people, and they've already gone over there. But everyone likes to stick with what they know. So they keep going to this casino because they have memories of it. It's this nostalgic thing. But then once they set foot in the new casino, they don't go back to the old casino. I have yet to meet a single person that has ever put money in the digital space that then has taken it out. So I think that this is the beginning of merging something like Zelle to where it's on your phone. The next step is the majority of people, across the globe, they order things now and have it delivered to their house. The way that they do that is they go do a search thing in Amazon. You're not going to have to do that in the future. You'll have an AI agent and you just say, I need to go buy X. It'll go out, it'll do all the sourcing for you. If it has any questions for you, it'll ask you the questions, and then it'll go out and it'll do the entire transaction for you. It'll go into your wallet, it'll pay the price, it'll come. That means that AI agents will be spinning up transactions. So the volumes that will be happening in stablecoins, because of the fact that Zelle and the coin, they're just going to be the way that we transact money. It'll happen overnight, just like AI agents will happen. We will be doing trillions of dollars of actions within the next few years inside stablecoins. Now, we already do trillions of dollars of volume, but this is going to leave the money with inside the space because you're now going to have stablecoins. Are you really going to transfer your stablecoins back into physical hard dollars? No, just like no one really owns any dollars as it is. They have money in a bank. They're already doing digital banking. It's just they assume it's there. So with all that money there, then tokenization will come up, and that'll start next year. And once tokenization becomes normal, then people will pick the asset that makes the most sense. And so when Bitcoin is the same as Apple, meaning they're both transacted in the exact same spot and you can do it on your phone, people will start picking the asset that is performing the best, and Bitcoin will be part of everyone's portfolio. The reason it's not part of everyone's portfolio now is because they don't have faith in that system. When it becomes a system that the fiat system is now tokenized, everything will be on chain, and then Bitcoin will be part of it. So people have to realize that this is about merging two systems. The digital economy doesn't replace the fiat system. They merge together, and then gradually over time, through both demographics and through adoption, it eventually ends up that all of the money ends up going to the place that makes the smartest decision. And the smartest decision, as we all know, is Bitcoin has outperformed all assets except for NVIDIA over the course of whatever time period you want.
He predicts that Bitcoin will continue to outperform traditional assets as the smart money flows into digital systems. Gold, being static and narrative-based, simply can't compete with Bitcoin's dynamism, network effect, and integration into the emerging tokenized economy.
Again, I view these as what should Bitcoin's valuation be relative to all assets. So whether it's gold or stocks or bonds, it doesn't really matter to me. It's just a question of how long it takes. And that's, if we learned anything from gold, we live in a world where even gold can trade with momentum. Even gold can trade on a narrative. The beauty of gold is that it's very similar to Bitcoin in one aspect. There is no reason for people to buy gold other than a story. You can't go to the bank and you can't transact with it. You're not going to carry the gold bars around. Yes, you can carry little coins, but try to go into a coffee place and give them gold and go through this. So gold is a narrative. It's something when people get really scared. And this was a year that the entire framework of the global trade system, capital flows, everything was disrupted. We shook the entire global economy. We just had a truce between Xi and Trump for a year. Theoretically, if that holds, I think gold will have trouble going higher for the foreseeable future. I don't think there's a reason for the narrative to play out relative to Bitcoin. If there's a debasement trade, you'd rather have Bitcoin because you'd rather have something that is going higher that's benefiting from the network effect. So I'm going to just leave it as if this was a year for gold because mainly of the China-US thing, and the China-US thing and the way the world is going to be has now simmered down, then the focus will shift back towards the attention of artificial intelligence and all the benefits that have come from that, and the fact that AI agents are coming, and the inequality problem is still there. We don't have a recession. We don't have people losing jobs, but we do have people feeling left out in the economy. That is a very different thing than buying gold because there's hyperinflation or because the central banks are fighting with each other or because World War III is going to start. We've kind of gotten rid of all of that over the course of the last 3 months. The Middle East has a peace plan. We'll see what happens with Russia and Ukraine now that China and the US have signed an agreement. At the end, I think all the reasons that people were buying gold made sense for this year. They don't make sense going forward. And I think for Bitcoin, all the things that make sense will make sense going forward, which is really the fact that people are doing okay, but younger people are not participating in the fiat system and they're looking for a new system. And I think that is going to spread next year.
I think liquidity, on the other hand, is going to drive the market moving forward. And that could be potentially a reason for Bitcoin to go further up.
Bitcoin should be going up regardless. All of these things that people have come to believe are just not true. Meaning the economy has been weakening since software started to disrupt labor. Labor continues to be disrupted. Profit margins are growing. So the capital side of the equation is doing well. The government is basically growing transfer payments. Income growth in the US is 1.5%, which is below inflation if you exclude transfer payments, which are growing at close to 9%. Transfer payments are handouts from the government. Again, younger people don't get this. This is mainly Social Security. This is just not money that is handed out. So younger people have to get money from their parents who have made money, who are getting the transfer payments. Whatever the case is, it is a dysfunctional situation that is driven by the excesses, the acceleration of technology. So I'm someone that doesn't believe in the 4-year cycle, mainly because I don't believe in anything that only has 3 historical data points. And in this case, you're talking about 2 historical data points because the first 4-year cycle I don't even care about. So people have created this myth, just like they create who's Satoshi. Everyone has a myth in crypto. Everyone has a myth also in the fiat system. I believe that Jerome Powell is going to need to cut rates. They're going to have to do something in terms of making sure that liquidity stays stable. And the reason is because we have a K-shaped economy in the US. And the reason we have a K-shaped economy is because inequality has been rising. We've had a concentration of wealth. We've had a destruction of the middle class. And that only worsens with artificial intelligence, which is the most disruptive and deflationary force to ever exist to replace cognitive and physical labor. And that's all coming in the next few years, which means people are going to get angrier. And at some point, the government will have to make sure that those voters are getting taken care of. So even if the Fed doesn't print next year, I fully expect Donald Trump to hand out checks that are very, very valuable to people. I expect him to do things to help, again, people that are paid on tips, whatever the case is. We do not have an economy in the US. And since the US is the most important place globally because the dollar is still the reserve currency, what happens to the dollar has a huge impact on Bitcoin. And I think we have a midterm election year, which is going to lead to the government needing to do things to help the bottom 50% of the economy.
Will further support Bitcoin and digital assets. As the traditional system prints more money to solve inequality, the store of value thesis for Bitcoin strengthens. Meanwhile, the digital ecosystem, from stablecoins to tokenized assets, will continue growing with every policy response. Please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can also check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies and the overall digital asset space, and drop your comments and observations in the comment section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks, and enjoy the video.